Nasper is eyeing a surge in half-year profit. The owner of Takealot and Property 24 says its headline earnings per share for continuing operations could double. Nasper has cited accelerated growth and improved profitability of its consolidated e-commerce businesses, as well as its equity-accounted investments. The groups pointed to Tencent in particular. More detail will be published when Nasper opens its books next month. WeBuyCars' annual profit has taken a knock. Despite higher volumes and average selling prices, headline earnings have come in at 58% lower. That's due to one-off professional legal and JSE listing fees worth 45 million rand. The firm says a call option derivative accounting adjustment also weighed. Despite the performance, WeBuyCars remains upbeat and says it's well positioned to benefit from lower interest rates, higher levels of consumer confidence, along with an improvement in new vehicle sales volumes driven by economies of scale. Steady and robust, that's how Telkom's described its half-year operational performance. Revenue for the period came in nearly 2% higher, supported by growth in mobile service and fiber data service revenue. But headline earnings for the period dipped 1.8%. Telkom says its earnings were impacted by an after-tax adjustment worth 451 million rand. That related to the conversion of Telkom's retirement fund to a defined contribution plan. If that effect is stripped out, adjusted HEPS is up nearly 58%. Astral's back in the black. The poultry producers posted headline earnings per share of 19 Rand 20 cents from a loss of just over 13 Rand a year ago. The groups also managed to clear its entire debt balance that was accumulated back in 2023. Outgoing CEO Chris Skitter has pointed to a successful turnaround strategy after Astral's worst year in history and says this supported the group declaring a final dividend of 520 cents. Looking ahead, Astral is cautiously optimistic about the macroeconomic environment and says it's well positioned to benefit from any improvement in the consumer environment. PPC says its turnaround plan is starting to bear fruit. Despite a lower revenue during the period, headline earnings per share registered growth of 10%. PPC says its South African and Botswana operations delivered a solid performance as cost containment measures started taking effect, and its Zimbabwe unit saw some margin expansion despite volumes being negatively impacted by the resumption of imports. In international news, global holiday home rental company Airbnb has urged Barcelona's mayor to rethink a widening crackdown on short-term rentals, arguing that it only benefits the hotel sector while failing to address over-tourism and a housing crisis. Here's more detail in this package report.
Airbnb wants Barcelona's mayor to rethink a widening crackdown on short-term rentals. The holiday rental giant argued it only benefits the hotel sector and doesn't address over-tourism or a housing crisis. Barcelona City Hall did not immediately respond to a request for comment. In June, Mayor Jaume Colboni announced a plan to shut all short-term rentals by 2028. The aim is to contain soaring rents for residents, but the measure is being challenged in courts. Airbnb argued in its letter that none of Barcelona's similar measures had proven effective in the past. Barcelona has imposed strict limits on new tourist accommodation licenses in the city centre since 2014. Airbnb cited official data showing long-term rents have soared more than 70%. They also argued the average price of a hotel room has risen more than 60%. That's despite the number of short-term rental homes halving last year from 2020 levels. Colboni has said he will keep a ban on building new hotels in the city centre, but he said he wants new hotel capacity elsewhere in Barcelona. Spain's travel industry association Excelta has lobbied for strong regulation on short-term rental platforms since 2022. It's described the boom of holiday homes as out of control in Spanish cities. A number of other cities like Madrid and Malaga have also applied restrictions this year.
And Netflix users were left unable to watch the highly anticipated boxing match between boxer Mike Tyson and YouTuber Jake Paul on Friday after an outage saw over 85,000 users indicating problems. Let's take a look at this package report for more.
Video streaming platform Netflix was back up on Saturday after an outage that lasted roughly 6 hours in the United States, just as viewers tuned into a highly anticipated boxing match between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul on Netflix late on Friday. That's according to the outage tracking website downdetector.com, which tracks outages by collating status reports from various sources. More than 90,000 users indicated problems with the streaming platform at the peak of the outage, it said. The website reported that the outage primarily impacted users in major metropolitan areas, including New York, Seattle, and Los Angeles. Netflix said it had no immediate comment in response to a request from Reuters. The platform has faced outages during live or highly anticipated events in the past, spikes in user traffic often being a contributing factor.